Hello, everyone. Today we're revisiting the case involving Diddy and 8 celebrities who were allegedly filmed in intimate situations with Sean Combs. So how many of them appeared to be intoxicated or under the influence of substances? The answer, all of them. Every single one. A grand jury recently heard testimony from a witness who claimed to have seen not just 1 but 8 videos featuring Diddy himself. Notably, 2 of the celebrities were allegedly recorded without their knowledge. Another issue at hand is the judge's ruling that the plaintiff must reveal their identity or have the case dismissed. This is truly disappointing and concerning for victims of sexual assault, including this plaintiff. It places them in a Hobson's choice situation, meaning they must choose between justice or privacy. They cannot have both. To shed more light on this chaotic situation, we have attorney Christopher Meltra, who has been following this case from the very beginning. He's just stepped out of court to join us. The work truly never stops. To recap briefly, let's rewind. Remember attorney Ariel Mitchell, who was, shall we say, rather eager to auction off a tape of a high-profile celebrity? Yes, that's her. She's back, and she seems to be representing a client who recently testified before the grand jury. At the moment, we don't know if it's the same client, but there are some tapes involved, along with the so-called Kim Porter diary. The situation is getting increasingly complicated. We have a new clip of Ariel outside the courthouse, captured by TMZ on the steps, where she claims to be speaking to more people and gathering additional evidence. This witness asserts they've seen the tapes but don't actually possess them. Is this turning into a treasure hunt? Ariel, the lawyer, almost declared that she has the tapes and is ready for the celebrity featured in them to buy them before anyone else does. This feels like nothing short of a shady deal, with Ariel acting as the most suspicious auctioneer imaginable. Returning to today's developments, the witness in the Banfield interview appeared very anxious, giving short responses as if they were running out of words. Mark Geragos, Diddy's attorney, seized this opportunity and appeared on Cuomo's show yesterday to discredit the reliability of this witness. At one moment, the witness claimed to have known Diddy for 20 years, and at another, they stated they had never met him. They said they had the tape, but then they didn't. None of this makes any sense. It's normal for authorities to want to interview any witnesses or victims. But if Ariel is trying to sell this tape, they'll want to know what she knows, who gave it to her, and where these mysterious recordings are. However, why did this person, after supposedly speaking with the grand jury, suddenly run off to leak information to TMZ and Banfield? What's the agenda here? If they are truly seeking justice, why engage in an impromptu media tour like this? This not only raises questions, but completely erodes credibility. Real victims and witnesses don't typically grant press interviews right after speaking to a grand jury. They usually remain silent out of respect and concern for the case. But clearly, that's not the approach being taken here. Ariel has completely lost her credibility. She's shown that she's willing to play dirty, even attempting to auction off evidence. And now she claims that this witness saw everything, but only through FaceTime. Apparently, someone showed her the evidence via FaceTime. Come on, it's 2024. Everyone knows how easy it is to edit images and videos, especially when it's a recording passed through multiple sources. This isn't evidence, it's just a chaotic mess. So now we have someone claiming to have seen 8 tapes, or maybe not, saying everyone in them was intoxicated, with some possibly being minors. This person is said to have testified about it, but then turned around and started giving interviews as if promoting a new album. Meanwhile, Ariel is just standing there, soaking up all the media attention, exactly as one would expect from the circus she seems to have orchestrated. As for Mark Geragos, he's doing exactly what any defense attorney would do, making sure everyone knows this witness is unreliable. He's pointing out the contradictions, inconsistencies, and absurdities of the entire situation. He's even questioning whether this person has ever met Diddy. One moment they're best friends, the next they've never met. And what about the tape? Do they have it, or have they only seen it? The story changes with every interview, and that's exactly the kind of thing a defense attorney like Geragos loves to exploit. And he's doing it very effectively. Let's be serious for a moment. If you genuinely cared about justice, if you truly wanted to hold someone accountable for something this serious, would you run to TMZ right after testifying? Absolutely not. Because this isn't about justice. It's about showmanship, attention, and the spotlight. Nothing screams, "I'm not credible," more than embarking on a media tour right after testifying before a grand jury. So where do we stand? Honestly, we're lost in a cloud of doubt. Every move by Ariel and this witness is riddled with contradictions. From auctioning off recordings to viewing them via FaceTime and suddenly becoming a regular on TMZ, it's all one big question mark. What's next? Will we see more witnesses, more recordings, or more accusations? The original indictment named Diddy as the sole defendant, but this story is evolving so quickly that who knows what tomorrow will bring. The government is clearly still gathering evidence, still trying to sort out who is credible and who's just chasing their 15 minutes of fame. And what about Ariel? From the start, she's painted herself as a rebel. Remember, we're talking about someone who seemingly tried to orchestrate an auction for a supposedly shocking tape. This isn't about delivering justice for the victims or exposing a scandal. No, this is about power, money, and turning evidence into a bargaining chip. And what about this mysterious witness? The one who claims to have seen the tapes but can't provide them. This is the most puzzling part. If these tapes exist, if they truly show what this person alleges, then why hasn't the evidence been handed over to the authorities? This isn't some petty theft case. These are serious allegations involving celebrities, intoxication, and possibly minors. Yet instead of fully cooperating, this person is doing interviews, creating as much noise as possible and making the entire situation more chaotic. Every interview this person gives only exposes more holes in their story. It makes you wonder whether they're telling the truth or simply trying to extend their moment in the spotlight. The timing of everything is just too convenient to ignore. Ariel made her mark with a suspicious auction scheme, and now suddenly a witness appears just as media interest begins to wane. And not just any witness, but someone who's supposedly in the know about everything. This feels like a desperate attempt to keep the story alive, to keep the cameras rolling, and to keep the headlines coming. But it's having the opposite effect. Instead of adding credibility, everything just makes the situation look more suspicious. And don't forget about Mark Geragos. He's no stranger to high-profile cases, and he knows how to discredit a witness. He's pointed out all the inconsistencies, all the ways this witness's story doesn't add up. One minute, the person claims to have been close to Diddy for years. The next, they say they've never even been in the same room with him. And what about the tape? Do they have it, or have they just seen it? The story shifts with every interview. The bigger issue here isn't just about Diddy or the people allegedly featured in the tapes. It's about how cases like this are handled in the public eye. Media circuses, the rush to push a story out, and the willingness of people like Ariel and this witness to throw themselves into the spotlight before there's even a trial. This isn't about justice. It's about attention, fame, and building a name at any cost. This is incredibly dangerous because it undermines the entire process, turning a serious legal matter into a spectacle. A grand jury is supposed to be a serious process, where the government gathers evidence and determines whether there's enough to bring a case to trial. It's not meant to become a source of fodder for TMZ or Banfield. The fact that this witness is so eager to talk to the media and that Ariel keeps pushing this narrative shows that they care more about fame than about actually achieving justice. The reality is, if these tapes are real and contain what is being claimed, they should be handed over to the authorities and dealt with through official channels, not via FaceTime with a lawyer, not paraded in front of the media. But that's not what we're seeing. Instead, we see people allegedly involved in a very serious situation acting as if it's all some kind of game. And that's what makes this so unsettling. Because if there are real victims here, if someone has truly been harmed, they deserve justice, a proper investigation, a fair trial, and the truth to come out without all this noise and chaos. But with people like Ariel and this witness steering the situation, it's hard to see how that could happen. We're left with more questions than answers. Why are these tapes being handled this way? Why does the witness seem more interested in giving interviews than providing evidence? Why is Ariel Mitchell, a lawyer, acting in a way that appears to undermine the very case she's trying to build? And why is the public being drawn into a spectacle instead of seeing real progress? One thing is certain, this case is far from over. The government is still investigating, and they'll have to sift through all of this, determining who is telling the truth, who's just seeking attention, and whether there's enough to actually bring this case to trial. And they'll have to do it while dealing with the mess that people like Ariel and this witness have created. Diddy's case has already become one of the most chaotic and complicated cases in recent memory, and it only grows more tangled with every new interview, every new twist. This makes distinguishing fact from rumor increasingly difficult. But we'll be here, following it, trying to make sense of it all. Things took a serious turn in 2023 when Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, decided to break her silence. She came forward with allegations of violence, manipulation, intoxication, and severe abusive behavior. Once she courageously spoke out, it seemed to give others the strength to step into the light as well. The door opened, and more women came forward with similarly harrowing stories. Federal prosecutors got involved, and soon after, the FBI conducted searches at Diddy's properties in California and Miami. Just imagine the secrets those walls might hold. Moving to the present, a federal grand jury in New York is meticulously examining everything. Their role is to sift through a vast amount of evidence to determine whether there is enough basis to file formal charges. They are reviewing witness testimonies, digital files, and other potentially incriminating evidence against Diddy. One of the key witnesses here is Courtney Burgess, a former associate who seems to be holding a treasure trove of evidence. She has spoken about unedited footage from Diddy's legendary parties. Not just harmless fun, but containing rather troubling content. Burgess has handed these tapes over to the grand jury, and her lawyer, Ariel Mitchell, has made sure the media knows about it, emphasizing that these videos could make or break the case. Additionally, there's the manuscript allegedly written by Kim Porter, Diddy's ex-girlfriend who passed away in 2018. Porter is said to have left behind a tell-all book that sparked a lot of speculation. It appeared on Amazon briefly before being taken down. The pages were reportedly filled with details of exploitation, manipulation, and secrets behind closed doors. What will the grand jury make of all this? Some experts suggest that if these alleged disturbing videos are genuine, they could be powerful enough to convince the grand jury to recommend charges. Video evidence, especially unedited footage, is not easily dismissed. When you can see it with your own eyes, denying it becomes much harder. And this isn't just about Diddy. This is a test for society as a whole. Do the wealthy and famous still get away with consequences while everyone else has to play by the rules? The public is fed up with celebrities using their power to evade accountability, and this is an opportunity for the system to prove it can truly stand up to them. People want to know whether these big names will finally face responsibility, or if this will just be another case of powerful individuals slipping through the cracks of the legal system. I almost gave up before. We had a conversation, reached an agreement, and signed a deal for her to stop sabotaging me. But then she went behind my back and violated the agreement. So who's to blame here? Fool me once, shame on her. Fool me twice, shame on me. This entire situation isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's a stark reminder of how fame and influence have allowed many to avoid accountability for years. Diddy's influence in both music and business has crafted an image of him as untouchable. Until now. This case is steadily chipping away at that image, and people are watching closely to see if this marks the end of the era of the untouchable star. What's interesting is the potential impact this case could have on the entire entertainment industry. Many are calling for stricter regulations, better protections for the vulnerable, and genuine accountability. While this might seem like a distant goal, perhaps this case will push things in the right direction. More whistleblowers, increased scrutiny of celebrity behavior. This is what the public hopes for, especially after witnessing so many powerful figures evade consequences far too easily for far too long. The entertainment industry has long had a dark side. Behind the dazzling lights, red carpets, and radiant smiles lie countless stories of violence, manipulation, and exploitation that often go unnoticed. The glamour of fame has been used to conceal so much wrongdoing, and Diddy's case serves as a reminder that those days need to end. Hopefully, by shedding light on these stories, real change can finally begin. We've seen this before. When a powerful figure is exposed, more stories begin to emerge. It's the ripple effect. Right now, Diddy's situation could be the stone that creates massive waves in the entertainment industry. The grand jury's decision could set a precedent. If they choose to file charges, it will send a clear message that no one, no matter how famous or influential, is above the law. And perhaps this will be enough to make others think twice before crossing the line. Let's not forget the core of all this. The allegations against Diddy are not just a blow to his personal image, but a powerful indictment of the entire entertainment industry. We're talking about sexual exploitation, coercion, substance abuse, and manipulation. These are serious accusations, and they highlight a culture of impunity that has persisted for far too long. These claims paint a picture of an industry where power is everything, and the vulnerable are exploited without fear of consequences. It's a stark reminder of the deep-rooted issues that need to be addressed. For years, it has seemed like powerful men in the entertainment industry could do whatever they wanted. They had money, influence, and teams of lawyers ready to shield them from any consequences. But times are changing. The #Me Too movement was a significant turning point. Yet there is still much work to be done. Diddy's case could be the next step in the right direction if the grand jury decides to bring charges and the legal system holds him accountable. This isn't just about the alleged wrongdoing of one man, it's about breaking the culture of silence and fear that has kept victims from speaking out. It's about ensuring that those who abuse their power are held accountable, regardless of their status or wealth. Additionally, it's about creating an environment where survivors feel supported and empowered to come forward. This case represents an opportunity to take meaningful steps toward justice and systemic change. The idea that celebrities can be immune to consequences, that the wealthy and famous are untouchable, has been a long-standing issue in society. Celebrities often get away with behavior that would land anyone else in serious trouble. This isn't just about money, though wealth plays a significant role. It's also about influence, the way public perception is shaped. and how the media and fans often shield these figures, even in the face of serious allegations. It's a reflection of the imbalance of power and accountability that needs to be addressed. Diddy's case is testing the real-time immunity of celebrity status. The allegations against him are severe and are being taken seriously. This, in itself, is a sign that things might be changing. The fact that a grand jury is reviewing the evidence, prosecutors are pursuing the case, and there is genuine public interest in accountability. All of this suggests that the days of celebrity immunity might be numbered. People are fed up with seeing the wealthy and famous escape consequences that would ruin anyone else's life. There's a growing demand for justice, equality, and a system where money and influence don't dictate the outcome. Diddy's legal team is fighting back with everything they've got. They're challenging the credibility of witnesses, questioning the motives behind the allegations, and accusing authorities of procedural errors. It's all part of their strategy to sow doubt, sway public opinion, and turn the tide in their favor. But the question remains, will these efforts be enough? Or is this the moment when the walls of immunity begin to crack, and the notion of celebrity untouchability finally collapses? If the grand jury decides there is sufficient evidence to bring charges, Diddy will face a challenging road ahead. This won't be a quick or easy process. We're looking at a prolonged legal battle that could stretch on for years. There will be trials, intense media scrutiny, and endless speculation. If he is convicted, the penalties could be severe, marking a significant shift in how accountability is enforced for those at the top. For someone like Diddy, this isn't just about legal consequences. It's about his entire legacy. He has built an empire, and his public image is a significant part of that. He's seen as a successful entrepreneur, a music mogul, and a philanthropist. These allegations threaten to destroy all of that. If the grand jury proceeds, if the case goes to trial, and if he is convicted, everything could crumble. There's also the financial aspect. Legal battles are incredibly expensive, and even for someone as wealthy as Diddy, the costs can escalate quickly. There's also the possibility of civil lawsuits. If he is convicted, or even if the criminal case doesn't proceed but enough evidence of wrongdoing emerges, a wave of civil lawsuits from victims seeking compensation could follow. The financial damages could be enormous, further compounding the fallout. But beyond money and his empire, this is about public perception. Diddy has spent decades crafting his image, and that image is now in serious jeopardy. The court of public opinion is often harsher than any legal system, and once your reputation is tarnished, it's nearly impossible to fully recover. The media has played a significant role in this case, and its impact is worth examining. Since the allegations surfaced, the media has closely followed every development. Every new piece of evidence, every new witness, every move by the grand jury has been widely reported. And this coverage matters. It shapes public perception, influences potential jurors, and puts pressure on everyone involved. The media's spotlight can amplify the stakes, making this not just a legal battle but a public spectacle that could define the legacy of everyone tied to it. For Diddy, this media storm is a double-edged sword. On one hand, his legal team is arguing that the coverage is biased, making it impossible for him to have a fair trial. On the other hand, he is a master of public relations and knows how to use the media to his advantage. He has made public statements, his team has leaked information to polish his image, and they've done everything possible to control the narrative. But controlling the narrative becomes much harder when the allegations are this serious. The media loves a scandal, especially when it involves a celebrity like Diddy. The public loves it too. They're captivated by watching powerful figures face consequences. And in this case, the media coverage has been relentless. Even the grand jury isn't immune to this media coverage. They are supposed to remain impartial, but they're human. They see the headlines, hear the stories, and can't help but be influenced to some extent. The pressure on them to make the right decision, to hold Diddy accountable if the evidence supports it, only grows with each new headline, each damning piece of information brought to light. One of the most critical aspects of this case is its impact on the victims and survivors. The women who have spoken out are incredibly brave. They've put themselves under the spotlight, opened the door to scrutiny, and are risking everything to tell their stories. That's no small feat, especially when the person you're accusing holds as much power as Diddy. In the past, victims in the entertainment industry have been silenced. They've been afraid to speak up because they knew the consequences. They knew they would be attacked, their credibility questioned, and they would be dismissed as liars or gold diggers. In many cases, they were right. The system wasn't designed to protect them, but to protect the powerful. But things are changing. The #MeToo movement was a major step forward, and this case could be another. The fact that these women are being heard, that their allegations are being taken seriously, and that a grand jury is reviewing the evidence, all of this is progress. It's a sign that maybe, just maybe, the system is starting to work as it should. The impact on these women extends beyond this case. By speaking out, they are helping to create a culture where other victims feel empowered to do the same. They are showing that it is possible to stand up to powerful people, to fight back, and that it matters. This is not just significant for them, but for every victim who has ever felt like they had no choice but to stay silent. The whole world is watching as the grand jury continues to review the evidence. The decision they make will have far-reaching consequences, not just for Diddy, but for the entire entertainment industry, for victims and survivors, and for how we perceive celebrity culture. If they decide to bring charges, it will be a powerful statement. It will signal that justice applies to everyone, regardless of fame or wealth.